Alright, welcome back to My Hero Academia anime review, episode number 233. Yep, this episode officially wraps up the Senpai arc. Yep. Yeah, originally this was kind of part of Queen Bee, versus Queen Bee, and then for some weird reason, because the arc itself feels... My guess is probably the reason why it was changed from why these chapters were made a separate arc, despite not being an actual separate arc, but my guess is probably the reason why they did that is because it feels separate from the main versus Queen Bee arc, which, yes, this arc will probably start adapting this one next week. And it only has 10 chapters. Yes, 10. By the way, how many episodes left to go? And I took a hit count of this. I have 4 left. You're like, what? 4 left? Yeah, because today's episode 9, which is called Mom Descends. Yep. Yep, this adapts from the rest, chapter 16, goes straight through 17, 18, and yeah, it is pretty much basically the end of this arc, and then next week, like I said, we'll start versus Queen Bee. So we pretty much begin after Kenichi's mom shows up, and then Mikito shows up and like, "Hi, I'm Kenichi's boy, I'm Kenichi's girlfriend," but she doesn't buy it, and he's like, "Well, we just love the one you were choosing." Like, so you're thinking like, why is she hitting her son this way far away? Fly swatter. Yep, it's her quirk. It's sort of punching her son. And she's probably like shocked the fact a beautiful woman like Mikito, who by the way is 2 years older than he is because Kenichi is 19. Mikito is 21. And like, oh, help out with the studies. And then we're introduced to, and then she meets Pop and Stop and Knuckle Duster. And for the first time in the series, we actually figure out their real names. Yes. Pop and Stop's real name is, and she reveals in this episode, Kazuhiko Hinama. And then, not long after that, not long after that, Knuckle Duster shows up in a nice press suit, meets Kenichi's mom, and introduces himself as a guy charged a non-profit. Basically, it's a cover for their vigilante efforts, which kind of smart of them to do. Okay, so his real name, his name he revealed in this episode, is Takahashi Kura. You're like, that's interesting. Excuse me a minute. Because somebody's got to take out the trash now. Yep. So, anyways, basically, like, so then, of course, basically, Pop and Stop briefly leaves, and so Kenichi had chased after her. He's like, "Kama, she's very super casual." Then she leaves, and then it's revealed that Mikito and Kenichi's mom are gonna go sightseeing in Tokyo, and they do that. Yeah. So, yeah. So, basically, Kenichi goes sightseeing with basically his mom and Mikito. And then basically, like, he ends up buying like an Asakusa of all places. Yes, Asakusa, a place that's popped up in like, I think like one other anime I've watched, and that being Fire Force. And despite the fact being a section of Tokyo, in Fire Force it's a separate city where it's like it's feudal Japan in that show. Yes, I mean, I knew it was possibly a place in Tokyo, but I did not suspect basically this. I thought that was interesting. So he buys basically a jacket, and then we see this, like, and they ride a bus back to Kenichi's place, where then a cat goes on the roof. Yes, a cat. Where it has a bee near its neck. By the way, our part-time villain basically is watching this. So then the bee infects the cat with whatever that purple substance, causing the cat to merge with the bus. And the cat becomes a cat. The bus becomes a cat bus. Yes, seriously. And it goes out of control, looking up basically the heroes on the scene. Well, the only one hero shows up here is Ingenium. It's been a few episodes since he showed up here. He shows up, and by the way, Nakadasha sees this from a distance, like, oh, maybe I'll let some heroes handle it. And then he sees Kenichi, like, oh, he's like thinking, like, okay, I'll help him. Contacts Pop and Stop to get some stuff, like getting duct tape and this feather duster. And he takes a flag from what looks like one for like a parade, and he puts the thing on top and he just waves it because cats love this damn thing. And the cat just races off. And so Ingenium basically races by and has his people with the trailer, having this guy with the quark goes big and just lift people one at a time with his giant hand, distracted them. Like, okay. And then basically there's only like one left, and it's Mikito. Yeah, she's the last one off the bus, which is interesting. So Kenichi proceeds to basically just put on the jacket that he just bought, the All Might jacket, and becomes the crawler. His mom doesn't know what the heck is going on with him. So he's like, yeah, we need basically backup. He's running out of juice. And so basically Kenichi volunteers to bring him his grape juice. Yes. He's like, oh, that's his juice. Interesting. Maybe he's thirsty, because basically running wild makes you thirsty. So of course he races by like, oh, you're so hey Jenny, I'm your backup. Oh, it's the crawler. And like, I didn't know you could drink this stuff. It's like, yeah. And they chase after the cat for a while, and the plan is to have Kenichi distract the cat, but not attack it per se, because he doesn't have a license to do that anyways. He's just a vigilante, where he proceeds to distract the cat long enough to try to get on board, but doesn't work. So Kenichi steps in, grabs Mikito. Of course, his mask slips, revealing that he actually is the crawler, which she's shocked at that, because this is suspected in the first episode that she thought he was the crawler. And yeah, it was proved to be correct. And basically the cat goes up the side of this bridge, which is from the previous episode Damage. Good continuity nod on that part, because Damage by that kaiju wannabe thinks it was Godzilla. Yep. Though, from what I read, it was a modified Zillroar. And the cat goes off. He basically falls. He tries to jump to get to Ingenium, but because he's flying, but it doesn't work. And then all of a sudden, he starts flying for a bit, long enough for basically Ingenium to grab Mikito, him basically falling down and just rolling across this road and hitting these pile of sandbags. And of course, Mikito checks on him. Of course, he's basically, well, he's not exactly injured per se. He's fine. He did a good job though. And his mom proceeds to go home, of course, encouraging Mikito, please date him. Probably because basically that she probably does want this woman as a daughter-in-law because she's very pretty. But she does not know the fact that her brother is a police officer. Imagine having that show up basically for family dinners. Where basically, let's say Kenichi marries Mikito, it's like, hi mom, this is Mikito's brother, a police detective. She's like, oh cool, police detective. She'll probably be very supportive of that. Yep. But all in all, well, basically, then Queen Bee, then of course that's her name, Queen Bee. She takes the cat away, Because leaves a bus, and of course, basically, Kenichi's mom goes back to the countryside. Yep. Oh, and if you're really curious, though, does she ever return after this? Well, she does. After this one episode. Yeah. I should point out, though, that in the manga, she only appeared in the 3 chapters dead for this episode, and then she's absent for the rest of Queen Bee. She appears in a flashback in episode 38, but is absent for quite some time in this series. She does not return until the final chapter. So basically, next time we see a present day will not be until when the series is over. They're like, that's interesting. But as for who Kenichi's father is, don't know. It is unknown exactly who his father is. Yeah, and you can definitely see, look at Kenichi's mom, Sonoko, of where he gets his eye shape from. Yeah, his eyes are very similar to hers. Yeah. But all in all, fantastic episode. Loved it. Oh, and here's a fun fact. Like, it has been Kenichi ever been absent in the series. He kind of has in the side stuff, in the bonus chapters. Yes, in the case of the first arc, he's pretty much there for the main chapters. Sudahara, he misses only just bonus chapter. Queen Bee appears the entire arc. Okita Instant. You're probably thinking, is there a chapter he technically does not physically appear in? 0 Hour. Yeah, 49 is actually the first chapter of the whole series, not the feature Kenichi. Like, that's featured in Fantasy in 37, but yeah, it's actually the first chapter he does not physically appear in. He misses one chapter of that arc. School Days. He only appears at the start of the arc and the end of the arc. Well, there's a reason why. We'll when we get to it. Final Performance. He is there. He makes appearances in all but one chapter. Underground Masquerade. Pretty much absent for this whole arc. Yeah, this was probably the first and only arc of the whole series where he's completely absent. You're like, huh, interesting. The fact that Kenichi himself is actually absent for a whole arc. Yep. But he is there definitely for the final arc of the series. Oh yeah. He's pictured, I think he's like missing, I think he is. Yeah, I think he just disappears. Yeah. But in the case of this episode overall, really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Can't wait for the next episode to air next week. So, that is pretty much it for particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Next up we have is a Comic Corner. And sadly, that's going to be it for tonight. Maybe I can watch some Dry tonight anyways. But I won't get to it until tomorrow. Okay. Check this video. Bye.